What's going on, guys? The Flash is a character that I really enjoy. I've probably loved The Flash for about 10 years now, and I've always wondered why we haven't been able to get a real game. We have fan games that a lot of the dedicated fans have made. There's a lot of stuff that is actually pretty cool, and it's crazy that a lot of the stuff that I've seen is on like Roblox. But I've always wondered, why haven't we been able to get a real game by DC or WB or whoever owns it? Don't know. That's what today's video is about. I wanna curate, I wanna make a little video about what things I'd like to see in a Flash game. And I know there's people saying,
oh, actually, you can't do that. You can't make a Flash game because he's too fast. It just won't compute. You won't be able to understand it. We won't be able to see it. It won't be able to look good.
you know how I just mentioned Roblox? So as a kid, like I had mentioned before, I was really into Roblox Flash fan games. And I found this one. They've done a lot of stuff with it that is kind of crazy. So it's a fan game for the CW show, which I think that was the first thing that ever introduced me to The Flash. Being a fan of the show, seasons 1 through 5.
Watching The Flash until Irish West get cringe.
Any last words?
I've got 3. Run, Barry. Run.
Yeah.
It was really cool to put myself in that world because they had a lot of places from the show that were like iconic to the show and important to the show. That's why I think the claim that,
Oh, it's too difficult. You can't really make a Flash game.
is kind of stupid because yes, the map is on Roblox. You're not using that much processing power with Roblox. But the way the speed is performed and the way that it looks, I'll put it up on the screen for you guys. It looks really good for being a Roblox game. So if a bigger company or like a studio that has the funds, has the know-how, and a better engine, just imagine what kind of a game we could get when they put their mind to it on a better engine than the Roblox engine. It would be crazy, and I want to see that. I want to see somebody take that and put in the amount of effort and detail and like passion in that the fans have. I think that'd be really cool. Moving out of the Roblox territory, have you guys ever played Saints Row 4? I haven't, but I've seen clips. They have a super speed power in it. It actually looks pretty good, and for it being in 2013 is kind of crazy. Okay, it looks alright. I mean, it doesn't look perfect, it doesn't look great, you still clip on stuff, and the animations aren't the best, right? It's Saints Row, it's 2013, not the best. But if you use that as like a stepping point for a developer that would be making a solely Flash-based game where that's the main mechanic, you've got a lot to work with just looking at Saints Row 4. Now that we know that it's possible, what would the game even be about? You're probably wondering,
Oh, let's do a Flashpoint. Let's do a Flashpoint story. Come on, guys. It'll be so good.
stop, it's been overused, okay? The Flash show used it used it so much, we're done. You know, it worked in the animated movie, it worked in the comics, it worked the first time they did it in the show, and it somewhat worked in the movie. Alright, let's stop, let's give it a rest, and
Let's create a new, unique story. How about that? I know, wild idea. No.
so, like I said before, a majority of my knowledge on The Flash comes from the show, the CW show. So, when I'm talking about this, I'm looking at it from a perspective of, I'm not a real comics fan, but I do enjoy the character, so I did some research for this, so it wasn't just like,
Oh, well, why don't we just make a game that's the CW, but a game?
no, I don't think that's a good idea. You need a branch, you need to step away, you need to make something that's original and unique. And let's forget about the movie, okay? Let's just leave that there. So personally, I feel it's kind of redundant to make an origin story for a character that's pretty well known, like the Spider-Man movies, like how in Homecoming they just were like, no, everyone knows who this guy is, let's just make the movie, let's just do it. I feel like that's a good approach for a Spider-Man movie because everyone knows Spider-Man. Everyone knows Spider-Man in the comics and stuff. I feel like having an origin story would be a great way for whoever's going to be making this game to branch away from the movie, branch away from the shows, take inspiration from both, but you're not trying to recreate, you're not reinventing the wheel, right? You're not trying to do that, you're making your own thing. One thing I think they should do in this origin story is they should show Barry. I don't know much about Wally, alright? So this is going to be about Barry. I know, but I feel like they should show how, even without powers, when he was young, he still wanted to do the right thing and he wanted to help people. Take inspiration from the show, they did that, right? But I want it to hit harder. I want it to be like, oh wow, this guy was a hero even without powers, right? That'd be great, because that would instill his morals instead of just,
Oh, he got struck by lightning. By golly, by gosh, now he's morally good.
I feel like a game is as good as its villains. For a Flash developer to make a story that is entertaining and interesting, you need to have some good villains, right? He's got a plethora of pretty interesting villains. Pretty weird ones too. They should have a main villain who is the main priority of the game, but they should also have side villains that are from the comics and like, oh wow, I didn't know that guy was there. As a gameplay tool and a narrative tool, I think we should fight the lower level enemies first. One, because you can learn new abilities while you're fighting these guys as they get progressively harder. And two, maybe we could uncover a plot where they're working for the big bad. That'd be pretty interesting. I think that'd be pretty cool. And here are a few of the villains that I think should be in this game. Also, when I was going through this and looking for villains to add, it's kind of crazy. There's some bum, goofy ass names. There are some weird characters in here I didn't even know existed. Obviously, we need the Trickster. We need to have him in there. He's kind of a classic. I remember him from the show, pretty cool. Also, I don't know if this would be in his wheelhouse. I don't know a lot about the Trickster, but what about Trickster trophies? Like the Riddler trophies in the Arkham games? Captain Cold, we need this guy in here. I feel like he's a great lower level villain, but also well known enough that it's not weird or like odd that he's in the game. And also, maybe you could tease a Heatwave DLC. Like, oh, I didn't beat the Flash. Looks like I need to call in some heat.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Mirror Master, pretty cool dude. I think they could do some very interesting stuff with this, kind of like what Spider-Man 2 did with Mysterio. Some cool, interesting stuff, and maybe some crazy psychedelic stuff, maybe. I don't know.
You know, we need Sandblaster. We need Sandblast in the game. You know why? Because he's Sandman. I don't know.
I don't know the character. I don't even know what he looks like. I just looked on Wikipedia. Sandblaster is a weird name. I need to get blasted with sand. Weather Wizard. I thought he was pretty interesting in the show. I'm pretty sure he died. Maybe have him be a more crucial character in the plot and not just, we don't know how to end the episode. I feel like Murmur would be a great character to have a weird horror aspect to the game. But no, like when I looked and researched his character, that's some weird stuff. That is some weird stuff that he did. I feel like that would be a great just thing to add and have it be like a surprise. Like all these other people are kind of goofy, kind of bum goofy. You know, they're cheesy. They're from the comics, from like the 60s or something. Right? And then we got Murmur. We got a serial killer. Like I said before, these are some bum goofy names. They're really goofy. I feel like that would help the game because the Flash would be like, oh, there's some guy named Weather Wizard, right? And he wouldn't take him seriously, and he would battle them, and it would be somewhat difficult. But then it'd be like, I'm the Flash. I'm good at this, right? And then when you get to the big bad, the final bad guy, and you get your shit kicked in, well, by golly, by gosh, you should have taken him serious. Finally, who's my big bad? Who's the overarching enemy of this game? No, not the Reverse Flash. I think it'd be very interesting if we got a comic-accurate Savitar portrayal. Okay, this is the part where I did research. If I did it wrong, tell me. Let me know. His origin should start in the beginning, no context at all. I think it should just open up with the game. He's flying in his jet, gets struck by lightning, plummets, hits the ground, and I'm like, that's a weird way to start off the game. Okay, and then go about it and lead into Barry's origin story, and then be like, that was weird that they added that, but you'll be so focused on learning about Barry as like a child or a teenager before he developed his powers. You'll be like, nah, I don't remember that, right? And then, that's when he gets introduced later. You'll be like, oh, dang, that's who that guy was. That's crazy. I feel like they should have Savitar's cult be like in the background of when you're learning about Barry's story to like kind of tease him. For people who don't know who he is, like I didn't know this was his origin in the comics, right? They wouldn't know. They'd be like, oh, there's some weird cult. Okay, that's weird. But I think it should be previously set up that, oh, this guy has a cult, they worship him, and he's like devoted to figuring out and obtaining all the power from Speed Force people. And also it would make sense timeline-wise because from what I've read, he gets his powers during the Cold War. And, you know, if we're wanting a recent, like, time-accurate game, that's a while ago. This cult's gonna be well-established. When Barry gets his powers, I think that's when Savitar should come out of the Speed Force because He's crazy. He's trying to learn about it. He's trying to get all the power, right? So he gets himself sucked in, okay? When Barry gets his powers, opens a void, he comes out, goes off and does his own thing, and then he comes back to get little Barry, to tickle his foot, to tickle his tootsies.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Also, I feel like we need to have a scene that goes and it puts more weight on the situation with Savitar and showing them that he's killed other speedsters before. Johnny Quick is a guy that I wrote down. I don't know if that's in the same universe or if it's just something I pulled out of my behind, but I feel like we need a scene where he's just like, give me your power! Type scene, and then he steals his powers, and then we're like, oh my golly, my gosh, he's gonna do it to Barry. We gotta stop, we gotta help him, we can't let this happen. And I feel like I'm gonna leave it right there for the story. I don't wanna go too deep into this. I feel like this is a good ground for another person to come in, a developer to be like, dang, that's pretty good. It's not, it's very basic, right? But they could take that and run with it, make their own things, do more stuff. What they should do is they should seek help from other writers of the series who have previous experience with Barry, like as a character, and writing Flash stories to help them make a good, comically accurate, and faithful story that can help people who've never really heard about the Flash or seen anything comics related to attach themselves to this character and experience these stories. You know, I think that'd be pretty cool. So personally, I like both live action iterations of the character and how they run. I love some more than others.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
I think whoever makes this game should use both the movie and the show as a branching off point on how to make Super Speed look good in live action, but they should also make it their own. They should be creative, and they should use that as a stepping stool to create something that is unique and individual to them. Since I somewhat know what I want the gameplay and the speed to look like, what do we want it to feel like? I don't know if this is because I watched the show when I was younger, but I really love in the intro when the Flash runs past all the cars and the windows shatter and they shake. That's really cool, and I think they should add that. It shouldn't be like every time you run past a car it does that. That would get repetitive and it just wouldn't be as cool. But I feel like you should be able to charge up your run and then you should be able to book it. I feel like that's the acceptable way to show that. You're gonna hit super speed, you're gonna boom! Bucket. Boom! I really love how PlayStation uses the vibrations in their controllers. It adds another level of immersion. It's surprising to me how much the vibrations of the controllers actually lock you into the game. And I feel like a Flash game would really help from dynamic vibrations. So let's say you're running past a building on your right side. Your entire controller would vibrate. It would vibrate less on your left hand and more on your right. So you're like, dang, I'm like right next to it. That's just one way that they could do that. They could also make the fighting, boom, each like right hook, left hook, boom, right side, left side. I need to get this off my chest. I do not like Suicide Squad killed the Justice League's Flash. Or at least the way he runs. It looks stupid. You didn't put in the time. Yeah, there's a trail there. Yeah, it looks like he's running. He's just teleporting, and you're putting in the slightest amount of effort to make it look like he's running when he's not. And that's why I think that a close third-person view would really help a Flash game. So with that third-person camera, I think what they should do is they should have it locked in the center. So here's this idea that I came up with. You can workshop it, but the camera would be locked with like the movement of his head or the movement orientation of his body. So hypothetically, you're about to round a corner. You're gonna take a bust that right, okay? Your camera's gonna shift as like with him as he shifts right. But if you hold your left stick and say you want to look around, you can still do that. It's gonna be a little more difficult to control. You can still do that, right? You can look around and stuff, but when you're done, and take your finger off of it, it's slowly going to adjust and go back, like cinematically, not just... So I think I know why I put so much time into the Roblox Flash game, and that's because when I played it, I felt like I was the Flash. I know, it's a Roblox game, but I don't know, it just made me feel like I was actually there, and it was actually really cool. And I think what did that is the map. The size of the map is kind of, it's not too big, but it's pretty good. And I feel like that's why we need to have a good map. I want every street and district in the city to feel unique And like, I want to be able to take a look at a picture of the game and be like, oh yep, that's where you're at. I think putting in detail and effort into creating a map that looks really good, one, looks really good, and two, is unique. That will definitely help your game. When you're zipping past it, you know, it might look samey, but if you develop the game with the intention of you're going to be running past it, and then make it look very interesting while you're running past it and unique while doing that. I feel like that's a good thing to do. So fighting mechanics are going to be a little more complicated for me to explain, but I think there should be a combo system like in the Arkham games. But you're moving at super speed, you're fast. That's why I think we need to have a new system. We need to have an entirely new kind of fight mechanic that I don't think has ever been performed before. So in that mechanic, I think hypothetically there's a guy in front of me, I want to fight that guy. I need to run up because I'm the Flash, so they're expecting to have a quick, right, just get hit randomly. So they're going to be on the defensive. They're going to try to strike before you get there. So I think you need to either dodge or parry, and then you can attack. It's an interesting way to have a fight mechanic that also utilizes the super speed aspect. There's also a mechanic that I want to see put in, and that would be flash time. So basically you build enough speed force, that's what I'm calling it, we're going to run with it. You build up enough speed force, and then you can either run around and hit every enemy. Let's say there's 10 enemies. You can hit every enemy twice, knock a good chunk of health down, or you can lock in on 3 specific people, and that's when you can run around them. I don't know if I can find a clip to accurately show this, but you can, one guy here running around, you're beating the holy hell out of him, right? You're punching him, beating him, kicking him, right, while you're running around him. And then immediately it's gonna be like a takedown in the Spider-Man games, but super speed and flash time, so they can't do anything. What should the reward be for participating in combat? Well, that's why I think we need to have some of the, again, taking inspiration from the Roblox game, we need to have some lightning throw, we need to have some phasing, we need to have some wind turbines with your arms, right? That's what we need from this game. We need to have, I don't know if I want to cap this at like how much speed force you have, or have it be like you can throw lightning, but then you have a delay, you have a time cooldown until you can use it again. I feel like that'd be a good thing, because I don't necessarily enjoy when playing Spider-Man and you have to build up enough stamina or whatever to do a takedown. I want to be able to do it, and I don't want to have to beat all these like 10 other guys to do one. So I feel like a good 10-20 second cooldown time would be good. Also, I think the Flash should have like an ultimate ability where he can run around everyone in this circle that he's fighting, and then it will like discombobulate these guys, and then he can go in for the attack. Or you could just use that as a way to, alright, they're disturbed now, they're discombobulated, I have time to recover. And then, you know, combat, you gotta have your skill tree, you have to have a reason to continue to play, get new upgrades, spice it up a little bit. I think that's a cool thing that you can do. You can either make your lightning throw abilities more powerful, or you can have new and creative ideas that the Flash has never done before, or stuff from the comics that I don't really know about. And I feel like that would be a good way to have a good skill tree that will make you actually want to go through the effort of playing the game and upgrading your guy. So the enemies, right? What I've described to you is a Flash that seems overpowered, right? That's why I think the enemies, they need to have some kind of way to prevent the Flash from just kicking their poop in. And that's why I think for a specific, let's say Captain Cold, right? He has his own gang. Well, what are they gonna have? They're gonna have freeze grenades. You throw them on the ground, the Flash shoot, he slides and gets knocked down, right? And then they just give it to him.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
They beat him up. They do their thing, right? I feel like that is a good way. Anti-speedster devices. That is a good way to have the combat feel, one, for the player difficult, but two, for the world building aspect, like you're not just kicking their shit in. It's a competent fight between the both of you. Finally, what should a Flash game not be? One, a Flash game shouldn't be live service. I know, that's crazy. It's wild. It's almost like, that means you're gonna have to put in effort. A Flash game should be a unique story that you get to experience and have fun playing. Not live service, get the Flash Battle Pass and you can get out. And again, I'm gonna say it again, please do not touch or think about touching the Flashpoint story. Guys, we don't need to do this anymore. We don't need this. You guys have used this so much that it's annoying. It's genuine. Okay, I'm getting upset. You need to leave that in the past. You need to give that some time to simmer. Because maybe if you make a good game in the beginning and like flesh out Barry as a character, maybe you could earn your way to make a story like that, not just immediately, yeah, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. Immediately make a story about how,
Oh, I gotta go back in time and save my mommy from getting killed.
you didn't earn that, alright? You did not earn that. Also, same vein, right? I'm not done with you. The game should not be a lighthearted story about how the power of friendship and determination overcomes all. Bro, that's just an excuse to not write an ending to an episode. Maybe, yeah, you can include some of the characters from the comics, right? Maybe have a team or like start establishing a team. Except I hated that in the show. I genuinely hated that in the show. How it wasn't the Flash anymore, it was Flash and Friends. That's not what this game should be. The game should be about the Flash, the title character. The guy in red, not,
Oh, my wife has to give me a speech every time so I can overcome my mental block. Ah!
get out of my face. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, give her a like. Hey, you know, subscribing is free. You can always unsubscribe later. Do it, please. I would really appreciate it. But if you guys like this video, share it to your family and put it on the big screen. Put it on your family TV and he's watching porn. He's watching porn. Write in the comments what you want your perfect Flash game to be like. What would you want added? What would you like to see? I don't know. Write a comment. All right. That does it for me. You know what I gotta go do, guys? I gotta go save the world with the power of friendship and Miller Lite. See ya!